We're back, and it's not every day you see the Lions on the main stage, but now it's here. Monday Night Football against the Ravens. After so much time suffering heavy losses to them, Detroit has the chance to turn the tables. The vibe at Ford Field is already different, and I feel a big upset coming. Hold on tight. And if you're into this One Pride talk, hit that subscribe button, because this season is going to be wild. Drop a like, it helps the channel a ton and brings more fans into the conversation. And comment too, I want to hear from you guys. What are your honest expectations for this game against the Ravens? Let's talk it out. The second the schedule dropped, we had this game circled on the calendar. Ravens on Monday night in Baltimore against a team that has historically owned us. The 38-6 score from 2023 still stings, but what happened after that game also shows who these Lions are. A team that got up and made it all the way to the NFC Championship. Now, it's different. It's a whole new vibe, and the guys who carry the weight have to show up. First, let's talk about Terrion Arnold. The rookie was tested right away. The Packers went after him, the Bears followed the script, and the fan base started chewing their nails. But look, he showed he doesn't shy away, even got a pick that was called back. Against the Ravens, they're going to target him early again. That's a lock. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Hopkins, it's not going to be easy. If Arnold holds his own, it changes the face of this defense. On the other side, Brian Branch has been a terror for opposing offenses. He always shows up, always gets his hands on the ball. He had a forced fumble, a near pick six, a tackle for loss. This dude breathes grit of Detroit. And to face Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, someone needs to get in there and make a mess. If Branch can force a turnover, it changes everything. I'm already picturing Ford Field erupting with that replay. And of course, Jared Goff. Week 1 left some questions, but Week 2 he answered with one of the best performances of his career. 5 touchdowns, over 330 yards, only 5 incompletions. He was surgical. He was absolutely on fire. Against Baltimore's banged-up secondary, if he can repeat that level, we've got a game. But if he holds the ball a second too long, you know how it goes. Pick 6, we've seen it before. Isaac Tesla, this name needs to become a routine. 2 unbelievable catches in his career debut. One-handed toe tap on the sideline, a clutch play. If he gets more than one catch this week, it opens up space for St. Brown, Laporta, and Williams to do some damage. And even if it's just one pass, it needs to be that one play that breaks the defense. Now, we can't forget about him, Aiden Hutchinson, the engine of this team. He relentlessly pressured Caleb Williams, forcing error after error. Against the Ravens, he's going to see double teams all game long, but that's what opens up lanes for everyone else. And if he can get a hit on Lamar early, my friends, the game could take a completely different turn. To be honest with you, everything comes down to these 5 guys. If they show up, history could be written in a way Detroit has been waiting decades for. The question is, who will be the first one to make a statement? Look at the irony. Right when the Ravens face Detroit in primetime, their medical department is stacked. Kyle Van Noy, the same guy who used to wear our jersey, is out with a muscle injury. 12 sacks last year, and now he can't even get on the field. Say what you want, but that's a huge loss. Imagine the relief for the Lions' offensive line not having to deal with that guy on every snap. And it's not just him, Nnamdi Madubuike is also out, and that's not just any name. 13 sacks in 2023, the league leader among DTs. This kind of player changes the middle of a defense, collapsing the pocket before the quarterback can even breathe. Without him, the Ravens' D-line loses its heart, loses that immediate pressure. Sure, they have replacements, like rookie Aeneas Peebles, who has even been praised, but the NFL isn't practice. It's one thing to shine in college, and another to hold off Goff and company in primetime. And there's more. Isaiah Likely, who could have been a safety valve in the offense, isn't playing either. Patrick Ricard, the fullback who does all the dirty work of opening up space, is also still out. All of this is wearing down their rotation, taking away their strength at multiple phases of the game. Harbaugh might try to pump up the young guys, but everyone knows missing veterans hurts even more when the pressure is real. Now, if we flip the focus to Detroit, this is the perfect opportunity. The team is relatively healthy, Goff is on fire, the offense is in a rhythm. Without Van Noy and Madubuike, our offensive line has more breathing room to establish the run and give the quarterback time to find his targets. And that extra time could be the difference maker that Laporta or Williams needs to break out a game-changing play that gets everyone off their couches. Fans are already saying it on social media. If we don't win now, when will we? And that's exactly it, because an opportunity like this doesn't come around every day. Baltimore at home is always a tough one, but without their key players, we have to go for the jugular. One Pride has to impose its will. To be honest, I don't remember the last time the stars aligned like this. Of course, no one can get too cocky, but if there's a game for Detroit to show their maturity, it's this one. Time to be cold-blooded and take advantage of every one of their absences. So the question is, will the Lions be able to turn the Ravens' fragility into a win, or will they let this one slip away again? When the news broke that Marcus Davenport was out for the game, every fan's heart sank. It's inevitable because we know Hutchinson needs a reliable partner on the other side. Without that, the opposing offense adjusts, doubles the coverage, and the damage can be huge. It was like that in the past, and no one forgets how badly we paid for it in the postseason. Al-Quadin Muhammad is the one taking on the challenge now. He did get a sack against the Bears and showed some energy, but holding up for a whole season is a different conversation. The NFL is unforgiving. Every week is a war, and you need depth. That's why some people are already calling for a bigger solution, bringing in Carl Lawson. Yes, that same Lawson who got a $45 million contract and lives with the talented but injured label. He hasn't been on the field since last year, when he still managed 5 sacks for the Cowboys. He's a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback, but he also carries a history of never being 100%. The market is cold. No team has been willing to take a chance on him yet, but sometimes it's these kinds of moves that lead to big surprises. To be honest with you, I'm torn. On one hand, Detroit needs pieces in the rotation. You can't leave Hutchinson alone in that battle. On the other hand, betting big on a player who's coming off so many injuries could be throwing money away. And don't forget, we already missed the chance to keep Zadarius Smith, who ended up with the Eagles. That would have been an immediate fit, but that ship has sailed. Dan Campbell tried to calm everyone down by saying he believes in the current depth, that he trusts the guys already on the roster. Okay, that's what a leader says, but those of us in the stands know the weight of reality. When the playoffs come and the opponent is for real, you're going to need more than faith. Fans remember it well. When Hutchinson broke his leg last year, the pass rush simply disappeared. And look what happened against the Commanders. Not a single sack, the season slipping away in the divisional round. That history can't repeat itself. So the question hangs in the air. Will Brad Holmes open the wallet and take a chance on Lawson, or will he keep the faith in the current group? And then came the rumor that made a lot of people's eyes pop out. Bradley Chubb to Detroit. It sounds like a dream, but look, some serious people are floating this idea. We're talking about an elite pass rusher, a Pro Bowler with a big contract, who could fall into the Lions' lap if Miami decides to have a fire sale. When Chubb is healthy, he's a terror. 11 sacks in 2023, 6 forced fumbles, pressure on any offensive line. He was playing at an all-pro level before his knee injury. Yes, he has a difficult history. ACL, ankle, surgery. He's been on a lot of operating tables. But now at 29, he's back, tearing it up in 2025 with 3 sacks in 3 games and looking unstoppable. That's top-tier production. That's the kind of player we dream of seeing next to Hutchinson. The contract looks scary on paper at $110 million, but in reality, the 2025 cap hit is only $12 million. For the most expensive position on defense, that almost looks like a bargain. And if you put Chubb in Detroit, it immediately changes the entire league's perception of this defense, because then it's not just about stopping Hutchinson, it's about dealing with 2 monsters coming off the edges. And the detail that makes this conversation even hotter. Miami is 0-3. The team is off to a terrible start. The pressure is mounting, and there are already rumors of a fire sale. They invested heavily in Jalen Phillips, and also brought in Chop Robinson, a first-round rookie. If someone is going to be trade bait, Chubb is the most obvious name. The proposed deal circulating would be something like Roy Lopez plus draft picks, without having to give up a first-rounder. It fits. It makes sense for both sides. Miami gets depth on the interior line and draft capital, and Detroit gets the partner Hutchinson needs to turn this defense into a nightmare for quarterbacks. To be honest, I almost jumped off the couch when I saw this rumor. I already pictured Ford Field in December, deafening noise, Hutchinson and Chubb running after the opposing quarterback at the same time. It's a video game scene, but it could become reality. Of course, the risk is there. Injury history, a long contract, the weight of expectations. But let's be real, if Brad Holmes truly believes this is the year, that this is the window, this is the type of move that separates a contender from a near contender. So I ask you, would you make that trade? Would you put Chubb and Honolulu Blue side by side with Hutchinson, even with all the risk? Because it feels like if this happens, Detroit stops being a promise and becomes a real threat. You know that feeling that mixes pride and anxiety? That's what Detroit is carrying right now. The Ravens' absences have opened up a rare window, our young guys are ready to break out, and even rumors of giant trades are circulating. It's all connected. Confidence in Goff, Branch's energy, Hutchinson's weight. This team has the chance to show that it's not just a promise, it's the real deal. One Pride is breathing in this moment like never before. Comment below. This space is for everyone who bleeds Lions. And remember, just when you think you've seen everything, something new pops up. Don't miss out.